Talktainment Radio, worldwide sound. Talktainmentradio.com. We give you a reason to come. The world's greatest radio. We give you a reason to stay. Radio, the way it should be heard. You got the power.
The views and opinions expressed are those of the host and guest and not necessarily those of TalkTainmentRadio.com, the management, the staff, or K&E World Network, LLC.
This is the Compensatory Concept with Mr. Neely Fuller, heard exclusively on TalkTainmentRadio.com, the world's greatest radio. Radio, the way it should be heard. And now, Mr. Neely Fuller.
If you do not understand white supremacy, which is racism, what it is and how it works, everything else that you understand will only confuse you. Only confuse you. Only confuse you.
All righty, welcome and good morning or good afternoon or good evening to wherever you are listening to the world's greatest radio. That is TalkTainmentRadio.com, radio the way it should be heard. You are in touch with the Compensatory Concept with Mr. Neely Fuller Jr. I am your co-host, Mr. Bobby, and we are so delighted to have the opportunity to be with you this day. Glad you are with us and glad you are alive. If you would like to participate in the conversation, you can do so by calling 1-877-932-9766, or you can Gmail me at 7mrbobby@gmail.com, and I will get the response on as soon as I can. All righty, and we will be repeating that periodically throughout the show, so that's very important. Good morning, Mr. Fuller, and this day, how are you, sir?
I'm still learning.
I am still learning. What are you still learning today, Mr. Fuller?
I'm still learning about how the world works and how it should be working. Mm-hmm. And that's my focus.
Yes, sir.
How it should be working.
How it should be working. Okay. All righty. I'm going to start off by somebody sent me this Gmail, and it says, since you are reading it on the air, I thought I would put two, in quotations now, quotified in the quotations, questions to Mr. Fuller. Mr. Fuller will only respond to questions. He will not make any statements. It says, Dear Mr. Fuller, there is somebody going by the name of Victor of RWS that has a lot of YouTube videos on the internet of some of your talks, and below it has get the books at. And I'm a little concerned about this because he's saying get the books at producejustice.com, which we know that when people order your books, which we will discuss later or address in a few moments, that's where you would go to get your publication. But it says, but it also has, and I quote, I don't have any financial support for my work. Feel free to donate and support. And also there's another person named Marcus I. Washington who lost his lawsuit against his previous employer, that is 5 years ago, and is now using quotations of yours about racism, white supremacy. But then when you click on it, he has a GoFundMe account asking for donations to fight racism. I just wanted to know if you were aware of these people, and do you ever request donations for your work or donations to fight racism?
The answer is no. Absolutely not. I do not request donations under any circumstance. And no donations come to me. Mm-hmm. And so that's the only way that I can answer this. There are a lot of things going on the internet that I don't know anything about. Some of it I know some about, mm-hmm. and some of it is in innocence, I imagine, and with the best of intentions. And I tend to believe that some of it isn't. and from what I'm hearing, because I'm hearing so much.
Yes, sir.
But I do not solicit donations, nor do I receive donations. And when I have received donations, I have returned them.
Wow.
And told people that I want to return them. I do not, under any circumstance, receive donations or anything associated with my work. I tell people to buy the book. Right now, the book is not available on producejustice.com. It will be again around June the 1st, somewhere around that time. But right now, that site is inactive, producejustice.com. Now, no one else is supposed to be selling this book. Right, but when the book is available, which it will be again around June the 1st, that will be under producejustice.com. But I do not accept donations, period. And no one is supposed to be accepting donations in my name.
Correct. Okay, now, there you have it. Neely Fuller just said it. He does not accept donations. And if you do or did somehow give him donations, as he just said, he will return it. So these imposters or whoever they are or whatever is going on, Neely Fuller does not endorse that, period. So, get that out of your mind. And those of you who are doing that, really, shame on you. I mean, really, shame on you to piggyback on the great work that Mr. Fuller has done. That's a shame. But anyway, we're going to move on. So now you heard it. As he mentioned, this is a fabulous book, and it's called The United Independent Compensatory Code System Concept, a textbook workbook for thought, speech, and or action for victims of racism and white supremacy. And he has a word guide, an additional book, and it's called a word guide. Mr. Fuller, could you quickly go over this book just a little bit and then explain the word guide for people who are new to listening to the program?
Well, the basic book is the United Independent Compensatory Code System Concept. Both books, both the additional book and the basic book, have the same basic title, the United Independent Compensatory Code System Concept. But a more explicit title, one that's readily understandable, is a textbook workbook for thought, speech, and or action for victims of racism. And, of course, racism is defined as white supremacy. It's implied and specifically stated, in my opinion, there's no other form of racism other than the system of white supremacy. You can't have two supremes on the same planet at the same time when you start talking about race and or racism. It's either or. It's either or. Either you have it or you don't.
Or you don't, yes.
It's like a cancer. I mean, you either have it or you don't. I mean, there's no such thing as a little bit of it. And so when you start talking about race and or racism, you're talking about white supremacy. You're not talking about any other form of supremacy. You're talking about mistreating people based on color and non-color. That's dominating and mistreating people based on color. And the only people who have successfully done that, you're going to have only one dominant in any arena, in any area of activity. You have one dominant. So those white people, not all white people, but those white people who have chosen to participate in dominating and mistreating people based on color or white supremacists. That's the title they gave themselves. I didn't make up that title. And they are racist. They have wedded the word racism with white supremacy, or racist, if you're talking about specific persons. And these people have become dominant over all of the non-white people, the people that they classified as non-white. They did the classifying on this planet. And that's the system that we have on the planet now, and it is the most powerful political and religious system. There's no religion stronger than the religion of white supremacy that the world has ever seen.
Or in those
and
9
this
areas.
is why we have the problems that we have on the planet right this minute.
Could you say that to the 9 areas of human activity, that is the dominant system?
Yes, it applies to 9 areas of what I call people activity.
Okay, people activity, okay.
Yes, right. And that they are economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. And when you look around the planet and you see who is telling who what to do, what people are the most powerful when it comes to people of color, you find that the white supremacists are the dominant people in all of these areas of activity. Economics, just look at all the economics. Who are the people that everybody of color goes to when you start talking about, I want a job, I'd like to better my condition, please do this for me, please do that for me, please give me a check, please give me some kind of position or some kind of title where I can do something for myself. It's always, without exception, someone who many people would classify as white, and not only that person would be white, but that person would be really, in practice, a white supremacist who is handing out whatever it is that's of any value. Look anywhere on the planet. That's what you'll find, either directly or indirectly. Sometimes it doesn't look like it on the surface because you have a lot of black, brown, red, yellow, beige, tan faces up front nowadays. But in the back office, it's always someone who is white, and not just someone who is white, but someone who, if you dig deep enough, you will find is a white supremacist, a person that believes in dominating and mistreating people based on color in all of these areas of activity. Education is the same thing. This is 2015. You find black people doing what? Oh, we need more education. Well, where are you going to get education? Well, it's got to be authorized. Authorized by whom? By the white supremacists. That's by whom?
By the white supremacists.
If you're going to learn anything worth anything, that's who you're going to.
Yes, sir.
That's who you get your certificate from that you're so proud of, that you put on the walls and invite your friends around to look at and say, I am now certified. I am now somebody. Why? I have these certificates from this place of learning, from that place of learning. You find people who are leaving, straggling across the desert with their babies in their arms, trying to get somewhere. Where what? Where there are some white people who can teach me something that I don't know so that I can take care of myself and my babies. I need an education. Where is the source of education on this planet right now for anybody who has black skin? You've got to go to the white supremacists, truth be told.
Truth be told. All righty.
I know it hurts your feelings, but truth be told, your feelings need to be hurt.
Okay, now before we go to the phone lines, I got to say this. Now, you produced this book in 1957 to 1980, and then you had it copyrighted in 1969, then it was revived in 1972, 74, 76, and in 1984. And then you wrote on here, it says, this textbook workbook has been copyrighted, and no part thereof can be justly reproduced by any means without written permission of the initial producer, Neely Fuller Jr. I like that. Okay. All right, let's go to the phone lines. What line, Galen? Number one? Okay, line number one. You are on with Mr. Neely Fuller Jr. Before that, you're listening to The Compensatory Concept, heard exclusively on TalkTainmentRadio.com, radio the way it should be heard. Get in contact with the show, 1-877-932-9766, or you can Gmail me at 7mrbobby@gmail.com. Okay, line number 1, you are on with Mr. Neely Fuller Jr., and what is your question?
Yeah, you speaking to me?
You're the first one up.
Okay, thank you. And good morning to you and Brother Fuller. Brother Fuller, I listen to you and Dr. Wilson on a regular basis, and I agree, and I quote you all the time. Now, you said white supremacy runs or rules the world, and I agree, and their history or exterminating people is very clear. And with that being the case, their history of exterminating people, I see us as being their next victim and being exterminated. Do you see this intended extermination I see, Mr. Fuller? And if you see it, how do you think it can be stopped? And if you do not see it, this extermination that they're going to do to us, I want to know what is it that you see that don't see them exterminating us, if you understand what I'm asking.
Well, if I understand the question, the first order of business is we do what we can to keep breathing, which that's a struggle within itself. And just as one of the easiest things for black people to stop doing is stop glorifying killing each other. We come up in many areas of the world just planning on killing each other, joining gangs and all like that, saying this is what I was born to do. Go down the block and find somebody, that looks like me, and then get a gun from the white supremacists and kill that black person that looks like me, and then feel like I have accomplished something great. And this is, truth be told, among people who are tribes, people who are gangs, people who are so-called organizations or families and whatnot, and that's what they look forward to. That's what many of the dark-skinned people on this planet look forward to. That's what we think we are born to do, and that is a priority. And we can start helping that situation by getting rid of that philosophy, because that philosophy was put in our heads by the white supremacists. All this tribalism and whatnot, my tribe, my organization, my fraternity, and I'm exclusive. And, and if anybody comes close to insulting my tribe or my gang or my whatever, I'm going to kill them. If they're black. If they look like me, they need to be exterminated. And the white supremacists said, amen. Go right to it, you black folks. That's exactly what I want to hear out of you people. I have trained you well.
Okay.
Mr. Fuller, I agree with what you just said, but black people killing each other, they can't exterminate 20 to 30 million black people across this country, but the white supremacists can. And I understand what you say, but my point is, how can we stop this extermination that I see them about to do to us here in this country? This is my question, because this is what I see happening. See, genocide, we already under genocide when they put us in slavery. We've been under systematic genocide since we've been here, burning our towns, killing our leaders, stealing all our inventions, jail. So we've been under systematic genocide. But that systematic genocide, it has to go into extermination, because they're going to start playing with us because the time is up. So, the black-on-black crime, they can't exterminate. Black people can't exterminate 20 to 30 million people. But the white power structure can. And that is my concern and what I was addressing to you, brother.
Okay, I will address that. Because the basic question is, are the white supremacists in the process of what you might call eliminating the black people from the planet? That's the basic question. And the answer is no. And the answer is no because of a logical reason. You can't be a white supremacist if you don't have any black people to be supreme over. That's just the logic.
Yeah,
if
but
they I want to say this. I want to make this clear. If they wanted to exterminate us, we would have been gone. Let's make that
I
clear.
don't see it was time in the past. They needed our labor. But right now, all the wood been chopped, all the cotton been picked, the technology is running wild. They don't need this labor anymore. That's why another reason I see this extermination, brother. They don't need backs no more. You know, so
okay,
they
I
going
understand.
away with people.
I understand what you're saying, but I'm also saying that they know that. And if just picking cotton was what they had wanted us for, and for nothing else, and for other heavy-duty labor and whatnot, then when they got rid of the need for that, they would have gotten rid of us. So why are they? The question is, why are they keeping us around?
In the past, Mr. Fuller, it wasn't time to get rid of us because they was trying to conquer the world. So they couldn't exterminate black people right out of slavery and then go around the world and saying, I'm Mr. Democracy, I'm Mr. Human Rights, I come here to help you. So they couldn't exterminate us then. But now they have the world under their thumb like you and I agree. Now they can exterminate us because they have the world just where they want it.
So what do you want? How do you want Mr. Fuller to address what you just said? I mean, what do you want him to say?
No, I didn't. I was just asking him the question that, do he see this extermination? Evidently, Mr. Fuller don't see it coming, and I do. So we just have a disagreement.
A philosophical disagreement. Okay.
Yeah.
You see it coming, but you're saying that Neely Fuller doesn't see it coming.
Right. Because he's saying they still need us, and if they wanted to do it, they would have been did it. And I don't see them would have been did it because the world was watching them, and they wouldn't have been Mr. Democracy, Mr. Human Rights.
Okay.
So they wouldn't have did it then. But now they can, and I see them going to.
Okay. Thank you for your call, my brother.
Thank you, brother.
Okay. All righty. Let's go to line number, what line is this, Galen? Line number 2. You're on with Mr. Neely Fuller Jr. What is your question?
Hello? Can I be heard?
Yes, you can.
Hi, how y'all doing?
Hey, turn your radio down in the background or whatever.
Is it better?
Yeah, go ahead. What is your question?
I just wanted to say, Mr. Fuller, you taught me a lot about, the system and racism and everything. And every chance I get, that's all I talk about. But anyway, my question is, if nothing changes with this racism thing in the near future, I was actually wondering, where do Mr. Fuller see this thing going in the next 20 or 30 years? Because I know in the 70s and the 60s, I believe, he had made the note that African-American males would be the face of homosexuality in the future, and obviously he was right because we are. And I was just wondering, where do he see it going in the next 30 years?
Okay, thank you for your call, and sorry for that stuff in the background. Okay, Mr. Fuller?
If I understand the question, what the white supremacists want is white supremacy, and they already have that. So what I see is that they're going to continue to do business as usual, but they will have different ways of going about doing it. White supremacy goes through 4 basic stages, like I have in the textbook. Establishment, that's getting it started. Maintenance, that's keeping it going. Once they get that business started, you want to keep your business going, and it is a business. And then expansion, that means taking in more and more people, and there's more and more people being born every day.
Mm-hmm.
Then there are more people on the planet now than there was, say, 1,000 or 2,000 years ago. So they keep expanding. Even though they kill people in large numbers, overall, the statistics show that there are still huge numbers of people being born to replace the number of people who are being killed. So they're not running out of people, okay? So they expand every time a black person is born, and plenty of black people are born all over the world, plenty of non-white people. And then the 4th stage is refinement, meaning you put the finishing touches on your business. Once you get your cafe started or your warehouse or whatever it is, your office building, Then you go around and you paint it and you move some chairs around and you redo the lobby and all like that. And that's what the white supremacists are doing now.
Right.
And and where it used to be black faces to the back, now they say, well, we want black faces up front. Why? Because it makes it look more refined. It makes it look like racism no longer exists. See? So it's just like on a stage play. You say, okay, everybody take their positions, because we're fixing to go into Act 1 of the refinement stage. And then they run through that whole ritual and whatnot. And the whole idea behind it is to keep their victims confused.
Yes.
So they're doing this, like somebody just said just a few minutes ago. I mean, like in the area of sex, they're confusing non-white people all over the world. They're telling them that gender is something that really doesn't exist. It's all in people's minds. Okay, so that in a little while, you would think that a pencil lying on top of a brick, lying on top of a desk, is sex. Why? Because the white supremacists say that it is. Say, if you want to talk about gender, that's a pencil on top of a brick, and the brick is on a wooden desk. You say, and that's sex? Oh, yes. That's, thousands of years ago, we had another kind of sex. I mean, it had to do with something called males and females. Now, sex is a pencil on top of a brick, and the brick is on top of a wooden desk, and that is now sex and gender. Okay. Sex, the definition of sex has changed altogether from what it used to be. That old-fashioned idea of male with female, that's long gone. Now it's all over the place. A tree can be sex. I mean, so welcome to the new world, folks.
Yes,
and the white supremacists will wink at each other again and say, you can get black people to believe anything.
Because they changed the definition because they wanted to. Thank you so much, my brother, for your call. Listen, people, my listeners, or Mr. Fuller's listeners, listen. This is why it is very important that you get the publication. Look, I don't get a dime for promoting Mr. Fuller's book, but Mr. Fuller is really trying to educate you on what is happening. And this is why the opening statement says, if you do not understand white supremacy, which is racism, what it is and how it works, everything else that you understand will only confuse you. To me, it's simple. You really have to understand what it is and how it works in order to address the situations in there. And basically, he's saying, look, if you're going to speak, you need to reveal the truth, produce justice, and produce correctness. I'm listening to the questions that come in, and this is a statement that Neely Fuller wrote back in 1982, which will address just about every question you have. It says, to the best of my knowledge and understanding, the basic initial requirement for establishing justice, because that's what we want to do, establish justice, attempted to establish justice among people of the known universe is to first eliminate the practice of racism, white supremacy. All persons in the known universe, both skilled and unskilled, who have attempted to establish justice and or have attempted to eliminate racism have so far failed. Therefore, as a victim of racism and as one who is both subject to and a participant in the overall support of injustice, I intend to use what knowledge and understanding that has been given to me to help develop the correct procedures for eliminating racism and producing justice. Now, Neely Fuller wrote that back 7 days before my birthday, July the 23rd, 1982. And that is still relevant today. You have to understand it and how it works, it being the racism, or white supremacy. You have to understand what it is first and then how it works. And then that will help you to shape your questions, and you can begin to reveal what is true, and you will start to produce justice, which will produce correctness, because justice is, as Mr. Fuller says, what is justice, Mr. Fuller? That every what?
It is guaranteeing that no person is mistreated. That's part one. And guaranteeing that the person that needs help the most gets the most constructive help.
Simple as that.
That's number two.
As simple as that. All right, we got to take a break here. TalkTainmentRadio.com. Check us out on WCRS FM 98.3. Wednesday and Sunday evening blogs and podcasts are available. Download TalkTainmentRadio.com app to your cell or tablet. We go where you go. Radio the way it should be heard. Stay right there. More Gmails and more of your questions. The lines are full. But keep on calling, and we'll get to you at one point. TalkTainmentRadio.com. Radio the way it should be heard.
TalkTainmentRadio.com is the premier internet radio platform offering 40-plus talk radio-style programs professionally produced, optimized for online distribution, featuring Columbus, Ohio on-air personalities. TalkTainmentRadio.com offers listeners diverse programming options covering topics such as arts and culture, love, life and relationships, technology, religion, paranormal activities, local and national politics, women's issues, alongside health and wellness. Listeners can access their favorite TalkTainmentRadio.com programs free of cost through the website. Download the TTR app to your cell phone and you can take us wherever you go. We have programs on demand to fit your schedule through our podcast. The address is TalkTainmentRadio.com.
LaGlory's Soul Food Cafe, a taste of Southern classic, located at 3350 Allegheny Avenue in Columbus, Ohio. They've got everything you need. The famous LaGlory burger, chicken and waffles, shrimp and grits, walleye, perch and whiting, and fish dinners, all Southern-style food.
Oh, boy, what good eating!
LaGlory's Soul Food Cafe, a taste of Southern classic, located at 3350 Allegheny Avenue, Columbus, Ohio. Be sure to tell them that All in Our Family sent you, and you will receive an extra side dish with each meal. LaGlory's Soul Food Cafe, a taste of Southern classic, located at 3350 Allegheny Avenue, Columbus, Ohio. For carry-out, call 614-237-5844. Get the menu at LaGlory'sCafe.com. Open 7 days a week.
For the best eating in town.
Goodwill is a global social services enterprise and the leading nonprofit provider of job training programs and career services in the United States and Canada. To pay for its program, Goodwill sells donated clothes and other household items in more than 2,700 stores and online at shopgoodwill.com. Goodwill uses the revenue earned from these sales to fund job training, employment placement services, and other community programs. The goal of the campaign is to increase goods donations to Goodwill, inspire an emotional connection to the Goodwill brand, and to elevate preference for Goodwill.
We can give you a new heart.
We can help you walk again.
We can perform brain surgery.
We can treat a sore throat.
We can bring life into the world.
We can work so many miracles, but the one thing we cannot do is read your mind.
When you communicate with your doctor,
when you ask us more questions,
you reduce your risk of suffering a medical mistake.
Tens of thousands of lives are lost every year due to medical mistakes.
The healthcare community is working on it, but you can help.
Please, open up. Ask more questions.
What are the side effects?
When should I expect my test results?
Will this medication interact with my other prescriptions?
We can't answer if you don't ask.
Help reduce your risk.
Questions are the answer.
Learn the 10 questions you must ask. Visit www.ahrq.gov. This message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, the Agency for Healthcare Research and Quality, and the Ad Council.
I wish I was in school. I wish I was in school.
Summer isn't fun when you're hungry.
Give me a math quiz. I'll stay after class. I'll clean the chalkboard. I wish I was in school.
If your child relies on free school lunches, we can help provide them with free meals this summer. Together, we're feeding America.
Contact Food Bank of the Southern Tier at www.foodbankst.org. A message from Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Supporting minority education. I'm Sean Booker, dammit, from the Melting Pot. I'm here to tell you that as the mother of a high school senior, I know due to financial circumstances, many of America's deserving minority students do not have access to a college education. Since 1944, the United Negro College Fund has sought to provide one. Since 1972, the beginning of this campaign, UNCF has helped more than 300,000 talented students earn a college degree. I'm Sean Booker, dammit. Give a helping hand.
In the small town of Elmira, New York, a boy was born into an all-American family. The odds of him opening his own clothing store at the age of 18? 1 in 138,000. Excited to be a part of pop culture, he packed for the big city. The odds of him achieving his dream in the fashion industry? 1 in 23 million. The odds of having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 68. I am Tommy Hilfiger, and my family is affected by autism. I encourage you to learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs. Early diagnosis can make a lifetime of difference.
Brought to you by Autism Speaks, the Ad Council, and TalkTameItRadio.com, the world's greatest radio.
The United Independent Compensatory Code System concept by Neely Fuller is considered as one of the substantial and basic books for understanding and effectively countering racism. Neely Fuller will turn upside down everything you've heard and everything you think you know about racism and how it works. Call area code 202-484-5461. 202-484-5461.
I think I'm entitled. You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Go ahead. Make my day.
You got the power.
Alrighty, welcome back to TalkTameItRadio.com, the world's greatest radio. That's radio the way it should be heard. This is Mr. Bobby, and you are listening to the compensatory concept with Mr. Neely Fuller Jr., as usual, answering in your questions, and we're taking calls at 1-877-932-9766, or you can Gmail me at 7mrbobby@gmail.com, and I will try to get to your Gmails. And speaking of that, got a question from Mr. Fuller. It just simply says, Mr. Fuller, you always use the term racism, white supremacy. Do you believe that God is supreme over white people and racism?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, Murr, you got your answer. Yes, Mr. Fuller believes that God is supreme over racism.
Yes, the creator of the universe is supreme over everything in the universe. Yes. But the white supremacists have looked around the universe and decided that when it comes to dark-skinned people, they would be supreme over the dark-skinned people, people of color. And they made that decision, and they pulled it off. It's just like I'm supreme over a pencil. You know, if I pick up the pencil and the pencil can't pick me up, you know, and I use the pencil's not using me, I don't guess. So I am supreme over the pencil. If I have a cat and I'm feeding the cat, and the cat is dependent on me, the cat always looks around and see where I am. Did I put water in the bowl for the cat? And the cat looks to me and say, where's the water? I mean, that goes in the bowl. You usually provide it for me. That's why I hang around this place. So, you know, you might say I'm supreme over the cat. But now, the creator of the cat and the creator of me is supreme over me and the cat. All we have to do is follow the logic. But now, when it comes to the system of white supremacy, are the white supremacists supposed to be supreme over me and mistreating me because of something I had nothing to do with, and that is my color? And the answer is not yes to that. The answer is no. So it is my job to see to it that this arrangement be changed. I'm here for a reason. I'm supposed to be making things better, I guess. That's why the Creator created me.
Yes.
I guess. I'm guessing about that. I really don't know. I don't know why the Creator created me. But I imagine the Creator wants me to do something, since the Creator gave me a brain and hands and eyes and ears and wants me to do something with this. So maybe it's to solve problems. Now, when I look around the planet, I see that the biggest problem is people being mistreated. Because of color. And so I say, well, maybe I'm supposed to be doing something about that. It's just that simple.
Okay. Also, that answered the question for Miss Leona, who called in last week. Miss Leona, Mr. Fuller just answered your question. That's the way it is. And remember, Miss Leona, get the book, The United Independent Compensatory Code System Concept, a textbook workbook for thought, speech, and or action for victims of racism, white supremacy. Now, earlier in the show, Mr. Fuller addressed that. Right now, if you go to producejustice.com, the book is unavailable. But Mr. Fuller indicated that in the month of June, they should be up and running again. Okay? In the month of June, the book should be available where you can get it online. And Mr. Fuller does not accept donations, nor does he endorse the activities of some who are out there doing stuff that really they should be ashamed of, but they're piggybacking on it, soliciting donations on behalf of Neely Fuller. But Neely Fuller says he does not do that. He addressed that in the first part of the show.
Well, I'd like to say the main reason why that is, too, I'd like to interject this.
Okay.
And that is, the white supremacists are doing some of this stuff. I strongly suspect. I can't prove it, because you can't prove a lot of things that the white supremacists are doing. So you have to always be suspicious of hidden hands.
Right.
Yes. The people doing things, I mean, you don't know who they are or what they're doing, because the white supremacists know how to manipulate everything. They are master manipulators.
Yes, they are.
And one thing they always want to do is confuse people.
Mm-hmm.
And the next thing you know, there'll be people who will be saying, I give money to Neely Fuller, and he's buying cars, and he's got a yacht in the Mediterranean Sea, and he's doing this and he's doing that, and none of it will be true. I don't have any such things. I'm not soliciting any such things. But the white supremacists can very easily do that.
Very easily.
And the next thing you know, have black people mad at me for ripping them off.
And you didn't even
do
that.
And I am not in that kind of business.
All righty. Let's go to line number 3. You are now on. So what is your question for Mr. Neely Fuller?
Well, actually, I have a comment. Bobby, there was a caller a few weeks ago. He said that white supremacy did not exist because we have several black billionaires like Bob Johnson, Oprah Winfrey, Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan. And my suggestion to that caller is, if you don't believe white supremacy exists because you have black people who are financially successful, you need to go and study how a little small country like Great Britain colonized people of color, countries of color all over the planet, like Sudan, China, India, Pakistan, and the Americas. Now, if he doesn't know what the word colonize means to conquer, dominate, and defeat. So when the Indians were put on reservations here in the United States, they were defeated. It was up to the white supremacists to decide whether or not they ate or didn't eat, or survived or didn't survive. So they allowed a few Indians to leave the reservation and become financially successful, just like they allowed black basketball players like Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson to enter the NBA in the 60s. They didn't have to allow black men to even enter into the NBA in the 60s. They didn't have to allow black people to even leave the plantation, period. So just because you got black people who are financially successful, that doesn't necessarily mean that white supremacy does not exist. So that's all I wanted to say.
Okay.
Thank you, Bobby, and thank you, Mr. Fuller.
All right. Thank you for your call. Before we go to the next caller, I cannot pronounce properly the first name, but the last name is Gary. And I mentioned the word Yahweh. And you're right, Gary. Yahweh is not a God, small g. He is the creator of the universe. So I agree with you on that. The question is this for Mr. Fuller. Do the white supremacists know who we really are? And that's why they work so hard to keep us in place where they want us? Does the white supremacist fear we will take our place again on this planet?
That could be. But that could be. I don't know. It comes down, it's been discussed by many, many people. Why do the white supremacists practice white supremacy? I have not done a lot of research on that. There are people who have, and there are many, many theories. There are many concepts about why this is. But I came to the conclusion that they finally pulled it off. And that's the part that I deal with.
Yes,
I just deal with the mechanical part.
Yes, sir. Okay. Before we move on to the next caller, we just got a response from me, Mur, excuse me. She said that she thanks you, Mr. Fuller, for your great, quote, great response for the question that you answered for her. All righty. Let's go to line number, what is that, Galen? Line number one. Okay, line number one. Listen, you're on with Mr. Fuller. Go ahead. What is your question?
Good morning, Mr. Bobby, and good morning, Mr. Fuller. And actually, Mr. Fuller really just answered my question, so I guess I can kind of parlay it into a comment, but also perhaps a question or a suggestion as well at the end that you guys might be open to.
Okay, you got about 2.5 minutes, so go ahead.
Okay, not a problem. Again, we talked about what racism is, how it works. I think that a lot of the confusion and the pressure that's coming in is the why it is, meaning what is the end game? We had the earlier caller who had the philosophical difference, believing that the purpose was the destruction of black people. I would recommend that caller read The Destruction of Black Civilization by Chancellor Williams.
Absolutely.
They had plenty of opportunity to destroy it, and we're still here. Dr. Chris Wilson, I've heard her in discussions with Mr. Fuller, in the discussions of why racism exists and perhaps genetic, the prevention of genetic annihilation on their part. But since they are master manipulators, and since it is logically easier to not be confused if we understand objectives and we understand the end game, might it be possible that we could maybe have a panel discussion on this show? I think that dealing with the mechanics of it is great, but it's kind of like having automatons out there acting without understanding a big picture. Okay. So I guess my question for Mr. Fuller is, with all of these various theories, which one are you leaning towards? What are the objectives and the end game of white supremacy?
Okay, thank you very much. And Mr. Fuller, before you answer that question, they just gave me the signal. I have to give the sign here. You're listening to The Compensatory Concept with Mr. Neely Fuller Jr., heard exclusively on TalkTeamRadio.com. Radio the way it should be heard. 1-877-932-9766 is the number you can call. We do have a line open, and you can email me or Gmail me at 7mrbobby@gmail.com. Okay, Mr. Fuller.
Yes, if I understand the question, it's still the same question that was asked a few minutes ago, and that is, why do the white supremacists practice white supremacy? Is that the question?
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, in my opinion, in the modern day, because they are already in position. See, they can do anything they want to with the black people now, with the non-white people. See, they don't have any fear. See, they might have had fear when they started out, but that fear has been erased by what? Once you are in charge of everything, you're not in fear of the thing that you're in charge of. When you're trying to get in charge, that's where the fear is. Once you solidify it, now they are on a roll. So what they do now is what? Bask in the glory of what they are doing. They have already captured everybody that they wanted to capture. They're not running around trying to capture somebody, they're still out there loose somewhere.
Yes.
No, they have made all of the non-white people of this planet their prisoners of war. So when you are totally in charge of your prisoners of war, you're really not afraid of your prisoners of war. When you can exterminate all of them. See what I mean? That's the logic. The logic says that. I don't have any fear of anything that I'm totally in charge of. See, when I say total, I mean total. So what do they really get out of this now that they have achieved what they set out to do? They're not trying to achieve it. They have achieved it.
They have achieved
It's called
it, yeah.
white supremacy. It's fun, and it's glory, and it's material gain.
All righty.
Those three things, that's what they get out of it. Fun, glory, and material gain. And if you just watch how they go about doing things, they enjoy. When they gun some black person down, that's fun. It's like chasing foxes. Run, black person, run. Oh, boy, I want you to run. Oh, you think you can run away from me? You can't run far enough or fast enough to find anything to step on, little black fella.
They control everything.
I control this entire world. Where are you going to when you run from me? When I control every place that you're going to, including up under your grandmother's porch. You can't get away from me if I really want you. So I just let you run down the street, and then I shoot you, and, and so what?
Yeah,
I'm in charge.
Just like they did, I don't know if we'll get a chance to address it, but just like another person was shot in, I think it was Madison, Wisconsin. But anyway, I don't think we'll get into that. Listeners, let me say this. If you want more of Neely Fuller, one of the people who I communicate with did mention, and I have done this before, you can also get Neely Fuller Jr.'s shows or his comments also on YouTube. And I have used it exclusively to listen to other questions that other people have asked Mr. Fuller, and it also helps. So you can go get that on YouTube. And YouTube is free. You can go and get it and listen and get more understanding to what he is saying. Okay, let's go to line number 2. Line number 2, you are on with Mr. Neely Fuller Jr. What is your question?
Hello? Can I be heard?
What is your question?
My question for Mr. Fuller is this. I understand that we can't outright call anybody a racist. So I call them racist suspects, as Mr. Fuller does. But my question is, how can we determine if someone is no longer a racist suspect and is in fact a racist or maybe not a racist, and if we can't determine, is there any way for a white person to prove that they are not indeed a white supremacist?
Is there any way for a white person to prove that they're not a white supremacist?
Right.
Okay. Sorry for that connection there. Mr. Fuller, you care to address that, please?
Yes. When white supremacy no longer exists.
Yeah. Simple as that, huh?
Yes. That's the only way that what other measure? Now we can just raise a question. What other measure can one use? So each individual can determine that. I've heard some black people say that, I know some white people who are not racist. I know them personally. And I know for sure, absolutely, beyond all doubt, that it's impossible for them, these white people that I know, to be racist. I know them personally, grew up with them, and all like this. Now, what do I have in the book about that? Because there are black people who say that. So, I'm saying it's an individual thing. The black person who has come to that conclusion that Miss Green next door is definitely not a racist. She knows Miss Green, grew up with Miss Green. They've been living next door for years, okay? So, that person has come to that conclusion, that black person, okay? So when that black person goes to another black person, here's what the code says about this. Yes, Miss Jones, Miss Green, who is your white friend, has proven to you that she is not a racist. Now, Miss Green, who is white, who has proven this to you, has to start all over again and prove it to me. That's the way that's supposed to work. Why? Because that's the logical process. Just because she proved it to you doesn't say she proved it to me.
Yes, sir. Okay. Let's go to line number 3. You are on. You can be heard. What is your question for Mr. Neely Fuller Jr.?
Yeah, I got 2 questions.
Real quick, because we're up against the time.
All right. The first question is, what should in your book? I forgot what page it's on, but what should we be doing during any time of the day that we should be engaged in? I think it was 4 things that you had in your book. I don't know what page that was on though.
That's page 58, 59, and 60. The 4 basic things that of use of time and energy is under economics.
Yes, I'm looking at it right now. Yes, Area 1.
Right, and those 4 things are. Let's see. You're looking at it right now.
Yeah,
what
you have one says number 1. You have producing, building, repairing, improving, and or cleaning those things that have constructive value and using those things for constructive purposes. Number 2, correct. Studying, writing, asking questions, and or exchanging views with others about all aspects of how to eliminate racism and or how to produce justice in all areas of activity, including economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war or counter war. 3, eating and sleeping correctly and only as necessary. And number 4, engaging in sexual intercourse no more than twice every 7 days and using a minimum amount of time and resources in association with such engagements.
Yes. Now, those, if a person ever gets lost, I say always you can't get lost. That's what codification is supposed to be about. It's supposed to be, if you're going according to a code that's supposed to work, and everything in a code is supposed to be something that works, or it's got no business in the code, you can always go to page 58, 59, and 60 of the basic code book. And it's just 4 things, one of 4 things that you're supposed to be doing wherever you happen to be on the planet at any given moment. And one of those 4 things, like I said before, like the gentleman just said, you're supposed to be producing something or building something that has constructive value.
Yes,
That's
sir.
number 1. Now, if you're not doing that, you're supposed to be studying and writing, asking questions, or exchanging views about how to eliminate racism and or how to produce justice. Now, let's stop right there at number 2, because it's just 4. And we are doing number 2 right now. See, so it's impossible to get lost. We are talking about what? Asking questions and exchanging views about how to eliminate racism.
Yes.
And or how to produce justice.
You're right.
If you're looking at the book, that's what you see. That's number 2.
I see.
And we are actually doing that right this minute. Okay? Now, number 3, like when you get off the phone, you may decide to eat and sleep.
Correctly.
So if you're going to do it, you eat correctly, meaning you eat something that's going to build up your body, not tear it down. In other words, try to do what I try to do most of the time, stay away from junk food, even though if you eat anything nowadays, it's most likely to be something made out of plastic.
And then you have it here, and only as necessary.
Yeah, and only as necessary. That's another thing. Don't just keep sitting there eating just because there's food there to eat. Too many of us do too much of that. And what do we have? An epidemic of what? Obesity.
And then number 4, engaging in sexual intercourse no more than twice every 7 days?
Every 7 days, and using a minimum amount of time and resources in association with such engagements. Now, why do I say this? It's because sometimes we go on a sexual marathon, truth be told, and we miss doing what? Doing other things we should be doing, like number 1, producing and rebuilding and repairing and improving something of constructive value. Why? You're laying up in bed having sexual intercourse, and now the alarm clock has gone off, and you didn't even hear it because you were so tired having marathon sex, you missed going to work today. Now they have told you, you do that one more time, don't bother to come in no more because you're fired.
That's heavy. Everybody that's on the line, hang on the line. Let Galen get your name. And what we will do is we will have you come to the front of the line next week, and then we'll get your questions. Your questions are very important to us. You've been listening to the compensatory concept with Mr. Neely Fuller Jr. We thank you for listening. We thank you for calling. And remember, talktainmentradio.com, the world's greatest radio, and radio the way it should be heard. We'll see you next week. Hang on, callers, so that we can get you for next week.
Thanks for listening to The Compensatory Concept with Mr. Neely Fuller, heard exclusively on talktainmentradio.com, the world's greatest radio.
The most important question in all racial matters is why. One should always ask it.
Radio, the way it should be heard.
You've got the power. The world's greatest radio. Talktainmentradio.com.